So I got this bike in, I think, June or July last year, and I did actually get to the point where I was considering selling it because I just wasn't really gelling with it at all. But obviously we're in January now and it's still here, so I'm going to do a couple little things to it over February just to try and improve it a bit, and then I'll see how I get on as we go into the spring and summer, and see if I can find a connection with the bike. So first of all, coming from a big V twin, so I'm going to drop a tooth on the front sprocket, which I've got here, to try and improve the acceleration a little bit. It's fine when you're high up in the revs, but then the speeds are a bit too high then. So I want the power to kick in a little bit earlier. So I'm hoping that has that effect. Got a new drive chain. The original one probably is okay, but it was a gold one, and you can see like there isn't even really any gold left on it. So I think it's probably been cleaned pretty aggressively. I thought that was actually a crack in the link there, but it's not. So I'm going to do the chain. The rear brake is pretty terrible on these, so I'm going to, while I've got the wheel off, I'll take that off, clean it all up, check everything's moving. Hopefully it is, and I can just put it back together and bleed it. And then moving on to the front of the bike, so the brakes are powerful, but one thing, well, another thing that I miss coming from a Ducati is there was much more feel, and it's probably to do with a better master cylinder, but there was much more feel on the front brake in the Ducati. So I'm going to get the front wheel out, clean up the pistons and pads. I'll probably bleed them as well, just while I'm there, and then hopefully that makes some improvement. It probably won't change the feel, but hopefully it just improves the brakes a little bit. And another thing that I've noticed on this bike, and I don't think there's actually a problem with it, but under really hard braking on the front, I get like a slight vibration through the bars. So I'm not sure whether it's because the tread blocks on the tyres are quite big, that with it compressed and braking hard, I'm actually feeling that as like bumps through the handlebars. Other thing I was thinking of, the forks could be bottoming out, so there's no travel left, and that's why I'm getting that vibration through the bars, or maybe some like deposits on the discs. So I'll clean the discs with some Scotch Brite and brake cleaner as well while I'm doing all that. And then one other thing, which I think it's probably worth doing because it barely costs anything, but I'm going to take the front forks out, and I'm going to change the fork oil, because I don't think there's a record of this having seals or that done. So I don't think it'll do it any harm having new oil put in there. I did have to buy a couple of special tools though. The big fork cap, so that was from Fork Cap Remover, so that'll go on there. I think it's like 52, what is it? 45mm, so it's obviously not like a standard socket. So there's that, and then also I've got this, which is for removing the damper cartridge from the fork. I think to fully separate them and get like the springs and stuff out. I've never done upside down forks before, but then again I'm not fully rebuilding them, so I just need to get them partially disassembled, empty the oil out and get the new stuff in. And I'll probably go for Motul 10 weight, medium or something. Basically the same as what I put in that bike, which I think is generally recommended as like the stock replacement. Even though the viscosity and stuff is slightly different, you can never get a hold of the stock oil, so I'll go with that because I think it's quite commonly used and you don't really see much bad feedback at all. Then next I want to fix a couple of, in fact first, I noticed as well the number plate light. I think it's an R&G one because this has got a tail tidy on it, but that's not working, so that's going to need fixed before the MOT. So I'll get that apart and get a look at it. Also, you can see the paint there needs sorting, so I'll probably just take this whole bracket off and paint it just to tidy it up a bit, and then there's probably other bits of paint touch up that I'll try and get done as well. Just where it's the black paint's kind of worn off, maybe the side stand. I'll see how far I get to, but the main things are what I'm doing at the front end and the back end. What else am I going to do? Well, this is probably going to be after the season starts, so there's two things I'm considering. One is, I think I remember last time they getting like thrown about this bike a bit and having like no grip on the tank, so I'm probably going to get tank grips on here. I'll try and just get the clear ones. I did want to avoid it because I think they look pretty ugly. Even though they're clear, they end up looking like a sort of yellowy colour. So yeah, I may get them, and then also depending on how far out the speedo is after the gearing change, I may get a speedo healer as well. But I'm not set on that because it basically costs the same as what the sprocket and chain cost to replace. So I don't want to double that. So I'm gonna do all that stuff and then see how the bike is. Give it a couple of months, see if I can gel with it. If not, I may consider selling it again. And to be fair, I'll be in a much better position for selling it in the summer when everybody's looking for a bike. So thanks for watching, and I'll try and put videos up of me doing the other bits and bobs to the bike. So I'll probably be starting with the chain and sprockets, and so start from the back, work my way to the front, and then I'll finish up with the sort of cosmetic stuff that's a bit less important, just in case I run out of time before I have it back on the road again. So cheers.